everyone, welcome to another picture from our World of Flowers page. We have got our watering can as our main feature on this one today. Again, I think I'm going to start with the background colour just because it helps me choose my other colours. If I use up all of my colours and then I get a bit confused as to where to go with background. So I'm just having a look actually and picking one. I'm thinking I'm going to use this Flesh Deep. Okay, so sort of peachy, pinky peachy colour, and I'm just going to colour away. As she said, a little bit similar to the colour above, isn't it? I'm going to make sure that I put a fair bit down so you can see that it's a different colour. If I use it too lightly, I think it's going to look too much like that one. So I'm just trying to get it reasonably even on the page. Colouring evenly is quite tricky, I have to say. When I first started doing backgrounds, I always wanted just a perfectly even colour for my background, and I just didn't understand how people did it. And now I've realised that actually it's quite hard, and a lot of people do it by using an alcohol marker, which I don't use because I'm too scared of them going, well, they'll go through the page. They're not suitable for double-sided colouring books. And or they use a Posca pen, which I then started to use. But actually, sometimes I think it's nicer not to have a completely even background. You know, I used to plaster the pencil down, try and get it really deep and dark, you know, intense colour, and it would layer and layer and layer and layer, and it didn't always look that good at the end, and I'd be a bit disappointed. So I've tried, I do things a little bit differently now. So now I keep it reasonably light. As I say, I'm layering this up a little bit because I want it to look different to this. But I'm not worrying too much about getting it mega even. I'm just trying to make it look reasonable. It's not realistic anyway. If you look at a wall in your house, the colour will not be exactly even, particularly if you look from wall to wall, if there's light shining in some areas, etc. So if you're colouring something like a wall, it's not going to be exactly even. So what I actually tend to do, if I've got a big area, is I make it darker in the corners and then lighter towards the middle, and then it doesn't look, you don't have to worry about it looking even because it isn't, if you understand what I mean. It's much easier, and you can use the soft pastel for that, you can use a watercolour, and you can use a pencil. So there are lots of options for you. And I found I've recently started getting much more confident with my Prismacolor pencils, and I found they're very good for background. Although you have to sharpen them a lot if you've got small details like this, I wouldn't necessarily recommend them on a page like this with lots of little bits and pieces. But if you've got a picture which is, say, got sky, or it's got a lot of background around the main item, then yeah, they're really good. I used them for a picture at the weekend. I was really pleased, and actually my husband actually said he thought it looked nice. He usually doesn't notice what I'm doing, you know. I do so many pictures, he's just glancing at what I'm up to, but he actually was like, wow, that's a good background. Ooh, he normally actually really dislikes my backgrounds. He doesn't like backgrounds, he prefers me not doing them. So that was quite a compliment. So I'm thinking, Prisma's working well there. And it was just some yellow, so I did it was a Rita Berman picture. It is going out on my Facebook page at some point, but I'm not sure of all the timings of when things are going up because I schedule those posts as well. It just makes life easier if I have everything scheduled and my videos scheduled, and then I don't have to panic and rush, and I keep nice and chilled. So that's really good. Anyway, the picture, it was this sort of, I used a sort of sand colour and then a bronze, I think, and maybe the light umber to produce the background. And Rita had already done some dots in certain areas to help me around the main central items, so that helped me a lot. So yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Okay, let's start doing some colours. Now we have this little swing. I think that's what I'm calling it. I don't know. I'm going to do this like a little wooden bit. So I'm going to grab a brown. There's not many browns in this in this selection of castle art. So I'm going to grab the sepia and do this piece, which I feel would be like a little wooden shelf. I suppose it's a hanging shelf, it's not a swing, is it? And I think maybe we'll just do a few darker bits at the edge, like that. I don't know. Now it's hanging down with some sort of string, with what looks like beads. So let's think about the string. I think I'll do the string in a sort of yellow ochre light colour. Hopefully, I need to sharpen it. Hopefully it'll show up a little bit against the peachy background. Right, that's better. I'm going to have to press quite hard so that you can see it's a different colour to the peach. It doesn't need to stand out massively though. I'm going to make the beads match the pot and the flowers, so I'm going to have a little think. Now these are against this sort of reddy pink colour, so we don't want that. We want something quite different. Hang on. I don't really want to do orange. I've got orange background. Don't pink. Maybe it's going to have to be blue, isn't it? But we've got some blue in the background of that other picture. I think it'll work. What I'll do actually is I'll do the ultramarine violet for the flowers. So it's a sort of purpley blue. So it'll hopefully stand out. I'm going to press quite hard because they're in front and I want them to show. There we go. And I'm going to use this on this bit too. A bit harder on the edge. It's a bit tricky. There we go. And the beads. It's a bit lazy using the same colour for all of it, but I think it works. And then I'm going to use the ultramarine for the pot. Whoops, if I can get hold of it. There we go. Doesn't want to come out. So like all our other pots, a bit darker here and lighter as we go into the middle. Oh, it's a bit scruffy. Tidy up in a minute. If it's a bit scruffy, you can just go back over it and tidy it, usually, or erase a bit and recolour it. There we go. It's a bit better, still a bit scruffy, but hey ho. Now we have piles of pots, we have our watering can, we have this little bit, let's do this. It's a little picture taped up. Now for the actual picture, I'm going to use the terracotta light for the paper. I don't want to leave it white, so I'm just going to gently put down this layer of colour, like that. I'm going to make it a bit darker around the edge, as if it's sort of browning with age. I think it's quite fun. Now there's a sort of sunshine or a flower and a leaf. Let's do that sunshiny thing in a yellow. Here's our Naples yellow. And then the leaf. Yeah, let's use this colour. This is the terre verde. I'm going to use it quite gently. I don't really want it standing out. There we go. I might use this as for the tape. A little bit darker. Oh, I've just got a message on my computer. Hold on a minute. It was my son messaging me. I thought it might be, which is why I disappeared off, because I'd asked him a question and he answered it. So yes, I asked him what his predicted grades were for his topics, because they'd just been given them, and he told me. Wow, I was very impressed. I guess you want to know. He won't want everyone to know, but I shall tell you. Him and his brother can do some pots, vermillion, and do this bottom one. Have got an A star predicted for their maths A level, which is the top grade, and an A for their further maths. Wow, and they've also got A's for their other subjects too. So that's pretty amazing. I mean, even if they don't get those A's, that's wow. I think my one son's really hoping that his predicted grades will be high enough for him to get an unconditional offer for his university course. I hope so too, because it takes the pressure off the exam a little bit. He doesn't have to do brilliantly, but I know he will. Do you know what I mean? He just doesn't have that pressure. And the course he wants to do, both of them actually, both the courses they want to do only need 1 B and 2 Cs, and they're predicted 1 A star and 3 As. So I think they'll be alright. So I hope they get unconditional offers, because as I say, it just takes the pressure off a bit. This little bit above, I think is a little pot tucked inside. I'm going to keep these a sort of reddish theme going through these pots. Maybe that, yeah, let's go to cinnamon actually for this next one. I hope it's not too close to the peach. No, it's not. I just feel like I want to, if I stack them up, we've got stacks of pots on the other page and I kept the colours close-ish, and I think I'm going to do the same. What should we do for the next one? We'll go for a, what's that colour? Oh, that's a burnt ochre. We'll use that for this one, but we've got a few bits, so oh, it's wibbly wobbly lead. I'll sharpen it in a minute if it goes. It's okay at the minute. Sometimes you can use them for a little bit. And right to the middle, and we'll leave that stripy bit. I'll do it a different colour. There we go. I think maybe a, let's go for this sort of yellowy colour. This is the brilliant yellow. It's brilliant. Like my brilliant boys. I can't believe that. I can't get over how, you know, good their marks are when I was at school. Yeah. Terracotta. For my A-levels, which is what they're predicted marks for, I got 2 Ds and an E. It was enough to get on the course that I wanted to do though. Apparently it marks, the standards have slipped a bit, and so it's easier to get A's and things now than it was, but even so they're doing so much better than me. But I was of the mindset that cadmium yellow light, I didn't really understand what was being taught, and I was too scared to ask for help, which isn't good. Right, we have these 3 pots here. I'm going to do them in greens because we don't actually have any leaves in this picture, so I think that would be fun. Let's just grab and go. Let's use the chrome green for our first one. Now we have this sort of stripy pot, so I'm going to use the second green for the stripe. I think it's fun. But again, it's the same technique over and over, a bit darker here and lighter in the middle. Yeah, I for example, I studied chemistry and I got a C at GCSE, which is the sort of exam that you do when you're 16, and my boys needed a B to be able to do science. So that's first step, you know, they had a better fundamental than I did, because I just cadmium green for the other stripes. I enjoyed the topic, but I didn't have a good understanding of it. And then I did English literature, and again, I wasn't taught how to write essays. So although I had the knowledge, I learnt the quotes from the plays and the books and things, I couldn't put it together into a good essay. You know, so that wasn't good. And then Castle Green Deep for our next pot. And then I did economics. Now I have a much better understanding of economics than I ever did then, because I sort of look at the news and I look up things I don't understand. But we have the internet. I didn't have the internet when I was at school. This is Prussian green. You know, we had to just muddle on. If you didn't understand what was in the textbook, you know, I think I might have had a revised guide, but it was really dry. It was a book with just writing. There were no pictures, no diagrams, nothing like that. It was just, you know, and I had practice papers as well, but my goodness, they were hard work. I don't think practice papers are any better now than they were then, but ugh. Right, we're going to use the cool grey for our watering can. We're just going to make it metallic, silvery coloured. Okay, so we're going to start under here where it's going to be the darkest, put down quite a hard layer and then reduce as we go down here. It'll be shadowy under here. I'm going to do a dark bit here too and then reduce it so that there's a bit of white in there and it looks shiny. And we shall continue this sort of method through. Not going to go down quite so hard on this one though, because it's in front. We'll sort of line the shine up with that one. We won't make it so dark here by any stretch because it's not in the shadow. Just join it up. There we go. Excuse me. But yeah, my boys are doing so, I'm so proud of them. My one son lost his way a little bit where he's been studying while watching videos and I don't think it's been very good for him, but I've had a talk to him and he's going to study without his headphones on so he can't watch them. So I'm hoping that will, and he's not taking his headphones with him to college either. So I'm hoping that will help him to sort of get back on track. But obviously the teachers haven't noticed any difference because he's still got such good predicted marks. Now I'm thinking because these bits will be closer to us, this bit might be a bit dark, but I've already done that bit quite dark. But we'll see how it goes. Just less pencil towards the middle, that's okay. And this bit I'm thinking, you would expect it to be darker at the bottom, where there'd be some shadow. Now if you don't know how to colour something, little tip for you, go onto your search engine and look up a photograph of it. Now colouring from a photograph is not that easy, but you don't want to try and copy the photograph, but you can have a look and see where the light and shade is in the item, which will help you. I'm going to do this bit quite lightly because I think it's sticking out, so it's closer to us and we're catching the light like that. And then when we do the main part, we'll do it a little bit darker. I'm going to try and keep it quite dark at the edge and lighter towards the middle because I'm hoping not only to create the impression of shine, to make it look a little bit rounded at the same time. Hopefully that might work. We'll keep trying until you've done a fair bit. It doesn't always sort of look quite right. I think that needs a bit of work there. There we go. Oh, I've got a cramp in my leg. I don't know why I've got cramp today. Most odd. I've been having my vitamins. I've been eating quite well. I'm not sure. Maybe I need to drink a bit more. Just had a coffee. I'll have some water in a bit. I don't like drinking water very much. I like hot water. So often I'll boil the kettle and have water out of the kettle rather than having cold water. Sounds a bit odd, I expect, but I noticed that some of my relatives do it too, and I never really understood why. Oh, postman's here. Made me jump. I'm going to go and see what it is. Hold on. Oh, I am back. I had to go and look, or else I would have been hurrying to find out what it was. 3 letters from the bank. Very exciting. Basically, my bank, every time I make a deposit, they send me a letter. So I know that 3 deposits have gone in lately, so that'll be that. Not very excited. I haven't opened those. And something I ordered for my nephew for Christmas. So that was good. Nice to see that arriving. Now these 3 pots. I don't really want to go pink because I think it's going to look a bit odd against this peach. So, ooh, just rubbing my leg. I've got cramp. My fingernail keeps catching on my chair, making a scratchy noise. So I think if we're avoiding pinks and purples, we could go blues. We've got a blue pot up here, but I think we could go blues down here. I think that would look nice. We haven't done blues much elsewhere actually. So we'll go with our indigo light to start with and do our bottom pot. I think that will work. Make it a bit shiny in the middle. And maybe across the top as well. There we go. And then inside it we'll do a different blue pot. Let's grab this one. This is the cerulean blue light. Do that one there. And lastly, let's grab this one. This is the Delft blue, light Delft blue. There we go. Let's have a look, see how it is. Yeah, we could do a bit of shadow between each pot, things like that, but I'm actually just going to leave it quite straightforward and quite simple. It's a fairly large picture anyway, so I think keeping it simple is the nice thing to do. So there we go. There is our watering can picture. So thank you for watching. I hope that was okay, and I'm looking forward to the next one. But for now, happy colouring.